The Entertainer, Chet Atkins version. So I have a policy of not doing videos that have been done on YouTube before unless I know for sure they've been done wrong. This is not one of those videos. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to do steel string guitar, and I want to show maybe a simpler way to do this. It can be really intimidating to try to play this song if you try to Travis pick it, which like the Richard Smith style where he Travis picks it. I don't do it that way. I can Travis pick, right? Oop, I'm in drop D, so that doesn't work. But I don't like to Travis pick this particular song, so I'm going to show you that. Chet doesn't really Travis pick it entirely either. Richard Smith does the more Travis picking style. Yeah, of course Chet does, but not as pronounced as the Richard Smith version, which you should also check. I'll link below. But I also want to show just a couple of tricks to maybe simplify it, because it's such a great song and it's really not that hard to play, and talk a little bit about the harmony, what's going on. So let's start off here. This is a version I bought a Chet Atkins book a long time ago, and it came with some MP3 downloads, and this is a re-recorded version of the Chet song. So let's just kick this off here. Alright, so we start off with a riff that's really in A. It's more based in A major. The song is in D. We're in drop D tuning, right? So there's two ways you can do that. So we start off on E, which is the 5 in A, or the ninth in D, or this way I think sounds better, right? I just have this bad habit. I've always played it that way, right? I also should say I'm going to show you how I play this song, and not necessarily exactly how Chet plays it, because we're going to kind of simplify it a bit. Oops. And then back up here to this E, and just repeat it an octave lower, right? And then down here to this E, and you have a little chromatic thing there. Now you can do it the Richard Smith way, which I really like. That's how I usually play it. And then you have an A13 chord, right, which is just open A here. You have a G, a C sharp, that's your third. Here you have your 6, your 13, and then a high A on top, right? So you get that chord. Richard Smith does this chord right here, where he'll pop that low A, hit that C sharp and that high A right there, which is also nice. Right? I like this. I like that little just thumb strum on that 13 chord. Gives you a bit of tension. So that we're starting off on the 5 chord, and it resolves to the tonic of D, right? So let's listen to the, I don't know, A section, I guess you would call it. One more time. All right, so out of that, we start off with this. It's a inverted A chord. It's a C sharp over A, or over E really. So it's almost like a A over C sharp, but don't think of it that way. Just think of it in terms of the melody. So we're gonna hit that, and then we're gonna go to that chromatic note there, that F. So we're walking up to the that chord right there, right, which looks like a D. It's really an inversion, right? It's really a D with an F sharp in the bass, right? But the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna add that low that low D, so it's just a D chord, right? So, whoops. So here, you hit that, it's D twice, to a G. So you're gonna pull off your index finger and open that G note up right here. Like that. So the bass note, you can do it like that, or then you can also hit that F sharp note there. And that's what Chet does. Okay? So you don't have to get real fancy with this. Look. That's it. It's super easy. The key is getting that single note on that D there. You see? Remove the index finger. Real easy. And then, so then you hit this note, which is a G, because we're in drop D, and then you just play, you just pop 2 or 3 of these middle strings that are open. That's a G chord right there, guys. So you get, bring it down to the F sharp, the 3rd, right? And then it sounds hard, but it's super simple. You're just playing a partial D chord. It's just it right there. Now you have to use these 2 fingers right here. You could also play the whole chord. Right? I don't like that. That's not traditionally how it's played. You can do that. You can do anything you want. You don't have to play it like the stupid song. Right? But you want to... So look. D and F sharp. And then open string, open G and open E. Chromatic. And then back, open. It's so simple. But you got to get a couple of bass notes in there, so watch. See that? You gotta get a couple of bass notes in there. If there's anything tricky, it's getting those bass notes, right? Or at the end. There's a sort of what do they call it? Retardado, slowly kind of in music at that last part, that, and then walk it back up again. Okay, so let's listen to this a little bit more of this. We'll restart it. Listen slowly. Okay, so there he introduces a secondary dominant chord, all right? So let's scoot back. Put a time marker in here, so listen. Okay, so you have the same, but But this time you just walk it up straight up, A, B, C sharp, and then okay, it sounds really hard, but it's not. Okay, I'll show you. So bum bum bum. And then, so what is that? It's just this chord here. It's an F sharp over this A note here. So you're fretting F sharp, A, and B. And you just, I don't know what that term is. Roll it down, 1, 2, 3, and then back on that A. So the fretting is simple because you have this chord already. And then you just put that pinky right there. That's it. And then bring it down to that E7 chord. I'm going to show you a trick here, okay? So you just roll through, open B, D, open E, F sharp. So A, B, D, F sharp, E, D, B, A7. So the trick is, if you play it with the chord shape like this, it's a lot harder. Whoops. See, I can't even do it. That's how Chet does it, that's how Richard Smith does it. But I like to go like this. Do it that way. You lose a little bit in the bass. You lose one bass note that way, but look, you're probably just going to be playing this in your bedroom or for, you know, just whatever. You know, you don't have to get. The problem is people won't play this song because I'll go, oh, I can't get that bass in there, that one bass note. Who cares, right? Purists out there, you can GFY. I don't care. We're just playing music here. So A7. Right? Sounds awesome, okay? And then same thing again. And then okay, listen. Scoot back. All right, so one thing, after the, just do a walk up, then bass note, so after the second time you do the bum, 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 there's an A, D that sets up the final little lick. Now that part is not easy, but it's doable, okay? Okay, so out of that you come in on a D chord, D, E, open string, then fret the F sharp, and then pop the open D together. So you repeat this open D, open E thing, and then when you fret the D, you change the fret the F sharp, you change the bass note. You see, this is the trick. Watch, it's super easy, but seems hard. Bass note with the F sharp, open, bass note with the C, bass note with the D or the B, bass note with the B flat. Oops. That's hard, okay? You're gonna just have to practice it. But the trick is to remember D, E, bass note with the F sharp, bass note with the C. You see? D, E, D, bass note with the B, bass note with the B flat. Usually I leave out the high F sharp with the B flat. Listen. You see? All right, so practice, practice, practice. Just remember, D, open E, bass note with the F sharp, bass note together with the F sharp, B flat, no F sharp, but play the D, E, D. Okay? And then after that it repeats, but it goes a tempo a bit more, right? Here, he picks it up. So the second time through, you just need to pick the pace up a bit, right? The best thing to do is just get this app called Music Speed Changer. It's a website. You can also download it for offline use. I think I'm 99% sure it's free. I don't remember paying for this. Music Speed Changer, I'll link it below, and you can just download an MP3 of this, just use a YouTube converter, put it down to like 60%, 50%, and just work your way up in speed. That's all you have to do. And trust me, this is not that hard of a song to play, because people on YouTube will never tell you that. They want you to think that it's really hard and that they're somehow like a guitar genius. Look, I'm a very mediocre guitar player at the best of times, and I can play this song. All right, so it's not that hard. It's just practice, practice, practice. Just drill it down, you'll get it in no time. Okay, so after that second part there, we go to this really sounds very intimidating. I'm not saying it's easy, it's all playable, so just listen to this really quick. Time. So here is where I'll suggest a couple of simplifications, because the second time through on that, it's incredibly difficult to play it the way that Chet plays it. If you watch the Richard Smith version, again, which I'll have linked below, you'll notice he does things slightly differently. I mean, he's the master of this song. He's one of the best guitar players on planet Earth, and he seems like a really cool guy. So here we start off with this, just like we did before we went to that part, but we're gonna go listen. So it's all chromatic, but you start with a D, and then you're gonna go to C, C sharp, D, and then A. Now that's the harmony. It's really not there. It's just think in melody. So you'll notice there's a bass note in there. Now this is the way that I play it, okay? So I don't want to hear any people in the comments bitching and moaning about the way I do this. This is my version of the song, all right? You want to learn it another way? There's a million other ways you can go watch videos and learn it, okay? I'm just trying to show you a nice, not so much easy, but simplified way. So you start off with that. So after you bring the double stop here on the 7th fret, you hit the A note back to that partial D chord, and then hit that low D. Okay, so and then just a D chord backwards. A lot of different ways you can do this. But listen to the melody. That's the melody there. Okay, so you're gonna have that G bass. Pinky on G, and you're going to use these fingers, these three. I like to strum an open G chord on D, G, and B, and then you play the B note up to D, and repeat on the upper string like this. So the melody goes, okay. That's the melody. When you distill it down to the basics and forget about all the other shit that's going on, it really helps. Oops. So your target is that D. But then you add this. So now here, watch again. This is a G minor chord. You add this B flat note on top of this D here. Okay, so you have that minor 4, kind of a Dorian thing happening in there, okay? Or sorry, natural minor. You're just kind of doing a sort of modal mixture thing here. It's like that, you know, the minor 4 trick. Beatles and Radiohead all did that shit. It's real simple, watch. Minor, G minor. open E. You can add, if you want, you can add that bass note in. A lot of ways you can play this. Okay, so out of this, what Chet does is he goes, he plays that little melody, F sharp, G, A, B, A. What I do is I just go, I cheat. I do it this way because I don't like that. To me, it sort of breaks up the rhythm. So what I do is this. I do it like that, okay? If you want to, it does sound cool, don't get me wrong. But listen, who are you playing this song for? Yourself, maybe some people at a party, you're giving lessons. It's just music, man. You can change it if you want to change it. You don't have to do it exactly the way that it was written. Probably better to do that, but if you don't, no one really cares. And so what I do, and I've always played it this way, right? Fine, okay? Or and then the second time around, it's a lot more complicated, all right? We should listen to that again. Listen. Listen here. Okay, so the second part is the toughest part of the song by far, all right? So let's break down what's happening here. So after that second time, is exactly what's happening there, all right? So out of that, you play the D chord, and then you make this chord, which is a partial G7, and then so the melody goes B, G sharp, E, A, and then an A7 chord. Okay, so let's break it down. 6th fret, 7th fret, partial G7 chord. Bring it up, you fret the F sharp and C sharp, and then you fret the C sharp and the G sharp like this. And then it's an E chord here. B, G sharp, E, and then down to that A. But on that A, this is the hard part. You got to get that open A with that high A here. Okay? So, when you bring this down, you want to bar across the strings and then make that chord there. This is an A7 chord. Look. But it's a partial. Bar across the top 4 strings and fret the C sharp note right there. Look. And play G all the way down. This note here is a G. Okay? It's super, super, super hard. This is the hardest part of the whole tune. Okay, watch one more time. All right. Now, why this part I'm showing you is different from what you'll see in tabs is he's going to play an E chord to get an E bass note in the mix. If you do it this way, you can do it. And maybe that makes it easier. Get to that chord. I've never been able to play it that way. So you're going to see an E bass note in the tab. I just ignore it and go. Okay? So, you know, make of that what you will. And then the second time through, so if we listen to this. This. Okay, listen. Okay, so what we have there is a out of the it's a chromatic starting on F sharp. Listen to the melody. But here's what I do, okay, me. Okay, Lobo, this is what I do. I do a rake, that's the word I was looking for earlier. I rake down a partial D chord, but I play an A on top of it, okay? To give an A over D sound. Like this. And then I hit that B on the bottom. Listen. And then I pop that low D and I play that chord. Okay, watch. And then reverse, just like we did before, on that D down here. Okay, so sometimes you'll find that note here will be not very clear when you bar across, but just keep practicing it. And then that's how you want to play it the second time through. Okay. G minor, E, D, and then on the D chord. All right, practice, 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 guys. And then after that, you play this lick: A, B, A flat, A. All right, let's listen to that. Sounds a lot harder than it is. So, and then, okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to jump those two fingers here to make a partial G chord, you see? And then you're going to put your finger there. Just do this. And then G sharp diminished. So you go boom, boom, boom. You're just going to do that. This is a simplified version. It sounds awesome. Okay, so G, and then just go straight down the strings. And then add the G sharp. So listen to the picking. One, straight down, and then you go down, down, up, okay? So you're gonna get that open D the first time. Second time, you're gonna pick these notes here only. You hear it? Okay, and then to a D chord. One, up to the A, and back down again. Okay, so it sounds hard, it's not. Okay. And then you end it with just an E7, A7, D. So just play, there's your E7, play the D note, and then here's your A7. It's really an A7 13, but you just play these two notes on the bottom, open E. So super easy, guys. Or, okay, you can do it. If I can do it, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. You can do it. Okay, so then listen at the end here. Repeat. Listen, repeat. Okay, so we don't need to go through the last section. Just after the A, D, okay? So pop the A string, and then you play this chord. Okay, you've got to pop that A here. It's really, really important. You pop that A, because at 5, you hear it? Without it, not as nice. So you end on that D, or pop the A. So what is that chord? It's a D, okay? It's a D, but you're going to keep the middle D string open here. So you're going to fret D and F sharp, okay, and high D. Sorry, yeah, that is F sharp. Sorry, yeah. Okay, just like that. But you're also going to get this note and this note. Wait, no, you're only going to need these notes here, these bottom 3, with the low D. So the A, listen. So boom. So it's not impossible, guys. You just got to work at it. Just go slow. You can 100%, 1,000 million % do this. You don't need Travis picking to do this. You just got to work out the fingerings. The tricky part, like I said, is with that, is getting that A7 chord in there nicely. You can maybe cheat and play this chord somehow, or, you know, this one. There's a lot of A7 chords you can use, but you've got to find a way to make it sound good with getting that high A in there. But other than that part, I don't think this is a particularly hard song to do. So practice makes perfect, and hope you enjoyed this video. And again, anybody complaining about the way I play it, then don't play it like this. You know, you can do whatever you want. All right, later.